This demonstration we're going to look at configuring the remote desktop session host server. So on NYC server 4, and what we're going to do here is just come into server manager. Once we're in here, we're going to add the role. Now the purpose of the remote desktop services is to allow our users to have a terminal services sort of feature, so we can have a single server with multiple sessions to allow users to access their desktop near enough from everywhere. So click on roles. We'll add roles. Next thing we're going to do here, just click on the next button. And what we're going to do is we're just going to install our Windows remote desktop services. So all we'll do here, select this little checkbox, select next, select next. Now in the case of the role services here, what I want to do is I just want to install the remote desktop session host. So turn on the tick box for that, specify next, next again. In the case of the authentication method, what we're going to do here is we're going to require network level authentication, purely to make it a little bit more secure, so the computer can pre-authenticate. Select next. On the licensing mode, what we'll do is we'll just configure this later. Select next. The users and groups that we're going to allow to access this server, we'll just select the add button, and we're going to add the IT group. And we'll also as well add the production group. That's all done. Click OK. Check the summary. Select next. In the case of the client experience page, what we'll do is select the audio and video playback. And we'll also as well specify desktop composition. So select next and then click install. Now we'll leave this running. So at this point here, we'll just pause the video and return back once it's installed. Right, it's now installed, so we'll just click the close button. It's telling us we need to do a restart, so we'll do a restart. We'll pause the video and return back once the server has restarted. Right, the server's now installed, so we'll just click the close button. Next thing we need to do here is just actually configure the remote desktop host. So what we'll do here, close down server manager, come to our admin tools. Within our admin tools, we'll go to remote desktop services. Next thing we'll do here is we'll then just go to the remote desktop session host configuration. This launches up a little other Microsoft Management Console. So what we're going to have a look at here, we'll just have a look at the RDP TCP IP, have a look at the properties. So what we've got on the general page here, we can put in a comment, specify our security, encryption level, allow connections by using network level authentication, see the certificates being auto-generated, log on to settings. So what we can see here is the user has to put in the username and password. We can see what happens with the sessions. So for example, end a disconnected session after so many minutes. We can also as well override the user settings as well. So what we can do here is when the session limit is reached, what do we actually want to do with the session? The environment, so the initial program. Do we want to run the initial programs when we connect to the remote desktop session? Can we remote control? Client settings, what we'll do here is we'll actually modify this just because we've got a fairly slow connection. So we'll drop this down to just 16 bits per pixel. And what we'll do in the limit maximum number of monitors per session here as well, we'll have that down as 2 for multi-monitor support. And we can disable redirection on the following as well. So we can say exactly what we want to disable redirection on. So drives, printers, LPT ports and so on. In the case of the network adapter, we can see which network adapters are configured to use the RDP protocol. And we can also see who's actually allowed to manage the remote desktop server and RDP sessions. So click OK at this point here. Now that we've modified everything, next thing we'll do here is we'll just come into licensing diagnostics and we can see that licensing currently isn't configured. So that's that all done. And that is configuring our remote desktop session. Next thing we'll do here is we'll just move over to NYC CL1, which is a client machine, and just connect through to prove that remote desktop server does work. Okay, we're now on the client machine, so what we'll do, come into accessories, click on our remote desktop connection, and the machine we're going to connect to is NYC-SVR4. Next thing we'll do here is just click connect. Right at this point here, all we're going to do is we're just going to log in and connect as administrator. Right, and as we can see now, we're connected to NYC server 4. So we've configured the remote desktop server. We've now come to our Windows 7 client and we've connected to the remote desktop. And as you can see here, what we now have a Windows 2008 desktop running on NYC client 1. And that's the end of this demonstration. Thanks very much.